Hello and belated happy Valentine's Day to you, all of our lovely viewers out there. You may note that the NSX that we have in the garage today is a different color than the usual one. That is because we have lightly absconded with Lizdrives' car in order to arrange a little bit of a Valentine's Day surprise. It's not unusual to get one's significant other another ring for a special occasion. Liz and I already have one set of rings that is made from expired NSX parts. This ring, though, while being significantly less symbolic, is still somewhat functional. What you're looking at is one of the fobs from an aftermarket keyless entry system by OEPlusdesign. This one came to us by way of Nelson, the owner, as well as our friends at Drivers Therapy, another NSX couple, David and Elise, and we thank all involved for the opportunity to do this install. Now, this surprise is just that. I'm filming this in advance, and understandably, we'll be publishing this after Valentine's Day, shortly after Valentine's Day. Now, normally, Liz is fairly insistent on doing all of the work on her own car. So, this Valentine's Day surprise does carry at least a low level of risk for me, but given that it is an occasion and she is currently buried with work, I at least fancy my chances of survival. But with that said, let's jump straight into the installation. In the box, you'll receive 2 remotes, a control unit, a vehicle year-specific wiring harness, and a couple of zip ties. Available online is also a really easy to follow instructional PDF. This particular kit is for a 92 NSX, so it has these yellow and red wires that you may not see on the harness for the 93 and later NSX applications. We'll also be doing the bonus round installation using these extra wires on the other end of the harness to enable some cool features. To install your OEPlusdesign keyless entry kit, you'll need the following tools and supplies. For the basic installation, you'll need a number 2 JIS screwdriver or a Phillips if you're scrub, some non-marring wedges to help you not break your dash during disassembly, and a small pick can't hurt. If you're planning to do the bonus installation steps to make the parking lights flash on lock and unlock and to enable the remote trunk popping, you will also need 2 18-gauge T-tap sets, some 16 to 18 gauge wire, fish tape or a wire hanger, wire pliers, slip joint pliers, and optionally, yoga instruction ahead of time or a chiropractic appointment afterwards. Starting with the basic installation, the first step is removing the glove box. Start with the screws holding on the footwell trim. Next, grip the top band of the trim panel and pull roughly 45 degrees back and down. Note the angle of the tabs here. It may be useful to use some wedges if you don't have built-in Gorilla Grip, but be careful you do any prying near a tab and not in between. With the trim out of the way, undo the 4 screws holding on the glove box door, then unlatch and remove the door. Next, remove the center screw at the bottom and 3 screws at the top of the glove box itself, noting that only the middle screw near the latch needs to come out. With the screws removed, gently pull the glove box out of place, remembering that there are wires attached at 2 points that you'll need to disconnect, one for the light and the other for the valet switch. The next step is installing the new keyless entry harness and control box. Locate the factory keyless entry connector. It should be taped to a larger wiring harness beside the passenger side air duct that you can see with the glove box out of the way. I recommend pulling the air duct loose on the blower side to enable easier access. Untape the factory connector and plug it into its opposite gray connector on the OEPlusdesign's harness. Plug the opposite end along with the white connector into the OEPlusdesign's control unit. It's now time to do an initial test. Grab one of the provided remotes and press the unlock button. You should hear the door lock actuators as well as a series of clicks from the control unit that will confirm things are working. If you have a 91 or 92 NSX, you have one last step to make sure your new keyless entry system plays nicely with the factory security system. If you have a 93 or later, you can skip this section. First, remove the 16-pin connector on the right-hand side of the security control unit. With the connector removed, you'll need to either use fingernails or a small pick to undo the locking tabs on either side of the back of the connector. Next, insert the yellow wire from the 9192 Specific OEPlusdesign's harness into the slot between the 2 green and yellow wires. That is, green wire with a yellow stripe. Insert the red wire on the opposite side between the green-white and one of the two blue-red wires. Ensuring that each pen socket is fully seated, clip the locking tabs back into place and plug the connector back into the factory security control unit. Now it's time for another test. While inside the car, close the doors and use one of the remotes to lock the car. Wait about 15 to 20 seconds for the factory alarm to arm. Next, use the button on one of the doors to unlock the car. This will trigger the alarm, so be prepared. Now, press the unlock button on the remote. This should disable and silence the alarm. This concludes the basic installation of the OEPlusdesign keyless entry kit. If you're stopping here, then you can skip to the section about mounting the control unit. If you'd like your parking lights to flash on lock and unlock, or if you'd like the ability to pop your trunk with a remote, then keep watching. Step 1 of the bonus installation is possibly the most tricky step, as it involves dealing with the infamous knee bolster. Start by removing the screws securing the footwell trim on the driver's side, and then remove that trim after disconnecting the two wires connected to it. Next, remove the two screws from the bottom of the plastic knee bolster. Tilt the steering wheel up all the way to give yourself room to get some fingers behind the bolster just underneath the dimmer controls. Now is the time to make right with whichever gods you pray to, cross some toes since your fingers are occupied, and proceed with using manual pressure and a wedge to pull the bolster straight back from the dash. Once the left side is free, repeat the process with the right side, resisting at all costs the urge to twist or lever the bolster as it's very, very flimsy. With the bolster out of the way, you'll either be swearing and breaking out some epoxy, or making the call to Euroboutique for an indestructible carbon equivalent, or you'll be able to continue with removing the plate behind the knee bolster to get better access to the underdash wiring. The last steps in the bonus round will involve some light wiring to enable the last two features of the OEPlusdesign KES. First, fish a couple of lengths of 16 to 18 gauge wire between the passenger and driver's footwells. I accomplished this with a simple coat hanger, being careful not to snag any other wires on the way through. Label the wires as trunk and flash, or deal with them one at a time. Really just avoid any confusion here. Connect the spade ends from your T-tap kits to the driver's footwell ends of these wires. Dealing with the parking flash first, locate the large gray multi-pin connector just to the left of the steering column. Find the red and black wire, a red wire with a black stripe again, and apply one of the T-taps to this wire. Connect the spade end of your flash wire to this T-tap. Connect the other end to the brown wire coming out of the control unit in the passenger footwell. Finally, to enable the remote trunk pop feature, adopt the NSX prayer position in your driver's seat, or bribe someone younger than you to do this. Look even further into the driver's footwell and locate the large blue 20-pin connector above and behind the fuse panel and door air duct. If you have a 91 or 92, the location of the wire that you're looking for may be different than that pictured in the instructional PDF with respect to the pinout on this particular connector, but the wire color code is the same. So you want to find the white wire with a black stripe and some silver dots on it. Apply your second T-tap to this wire. It will be a little bit tricky, but with your slip joint pliers, it should be able to be accomplished. Follow the same process of connecting the spade from your trunk wire to this T-tap, and the other end of that wire to the red connector to the control unit in the passenger footwell. Now it's time for the final test before reassembly. With all functions checking out, the last thing you'll need to do is mount the control unit somewhere in the car. The factory KES unit, if your car came with keyless entry, was attached to the top of the plastic trim in the passenger footwell. However, I chose to mount mine via some Velcro command strips in the empty space between two existing boxes in the control unit stack behind the passenger dash. My thought being that the padded adhesive will mitigate any possible rattles, while the Velcro would enable easy removal should I need to move it in the future. So after tidying up a little wiring under the dash and putting everything back together, everything is still working correctly. So all that is now left to do is go and hand over the keys, or hand over the fobs anyway, and hope for the best. Wish me luck. Anyhow, I hope you found the video informative, if not entertaining. If you do want to buy one of these things, they are available at OEPlusdesign.com. I will leave a link to that down in the description. It is always awesome to see products like this continue to be developed for these old cars. So thanks again to Nelson and David and Liz for the chain of custody of this particular kit. I'm sure Liz will actually just legitimately appreciate it. But anyway, that's where we're going to leave it for today. Thanks for joining us. If you did enjoy the video, give us a like. If you had any questions or comments, or if we missed anything in the install process, or you have questions around that, drop them in the comments down below. But past that, thanks again for watching. I'm Richard. This is Lap of the World. We'll see you guys all in the next video, if not at the track. Where are your keys?
I don't know. Well, I'm not touching the car and you're not touching the car, which means you were working on my car.
I did work on your car a little bit, but it was for a good cause.
All right. I appreciate that when I pushed that, the lights turned on.
Uh-huh.
The lights turned on.
Yeah. That's a feature, extra features.
Okay, so no honking when I do it, which is good.
Yeah.
Because I hate that.
So, hit the unlock.
Okay, hit the unlock.
Okay, and then I'll hold it down.
Oh. See, that's nice. But I assume I could still use the extra special key?
Yes.
Okay.
The extra special key, your fancy Monel titanium key still works, so.
Isn't it actually titanium?
Shh. Also, you're a little bit on candid camera right now.
Okay. Well, you could have at least warned me to like brushed my hair or something. It's fine. I've seen it's like all the videos on Instagram where the guy proposes and she's like, "You let me wear sweatpants?"
Right.
Yeah. Well, thanks.
So, legitimate surprise.
Well,
unprepared.
Thank you, but also it doesn't mean you can work on my car.
Understood.
Yes. But thank you.
Happy Valentine's Day. Love you.
Love you too. And I feel like I should have probably done something better for you than a card. You can ride in my car.
Yay!
You get to work on my car without being yelled at.